Sure. Thanks, Gogula. Just before we get started, just want to inform everyone that this will be a recorded session, and if you would not be willing to participate in the recording, now would be the time to leave. And with that, I would like to welcome all of you to the 10th session of the Sri Lanka Power BI community. This is our second session in March, as we will not be having one in April. So warm welcome to everyone who has joined here, despite we are aware that things are not easy, and thank you very much for taking the time to join. To take a look at our agenda, today we have one featured session and 3 lightning demos. And with that, let me first introduce our first speaker who will be taking the featured session. Our first speaker is Fowmy Abdulmuttalib. He is the head of ERP and BI at McDonald's. He will be talking about common pitfalls and mistakes when building calculations using DAX within Power BI. And as I said earlier, he is the head of ERP and BI at McDonald's. He's also a Microsoft certified business intelligence professional with extensive experience in finance and business analytics. He also founded Excel Fort Consulting Services, which specializes in training, consulting, and building business intelligence solutions with the Microsoft Power Platform. He's interested in everything data related and loves to share his passion and knowledge with the Power BI community. Fowmy is joining us from Saudi Arabia, and with that, I'll hand it over to Fowmy.
Thank you very much. Now, thank you very much for the opportunity as well. So let me share my screen. I've got a few slides to go with. Hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you again. So already introduction was given. So let me add, you can connect with me using LinkedIn. The QR code is here and the link is there. During my free time, I create YouTube videos on Power BI and modern Excel and share it through my YouTube channel. So if you're interested, you can visit. It's in the name of Excel Fort. I also have my blog and Twitter handle all in the same name. Nothing much during my, I said free time, I create YouTube and like swimming and playing cricket over here. So let's jump into today's session. Discover DAX fundamentals through common mistakes. So I will mainly focus on DAX concepts through common mistakes people make when creating DAX calculations, let it be measures or calculated columns, wherever they create DAX formulas. I have come across mistakes, especially through helping people on the Power BI community forum where I hang around and help people. So I put together about 10 examples to demonstrate and discover the concepts through these examples. Talking about learning DAX, one of the important thing is the key concepts in DAX. Without understanding the concepts, it's very difficult to identify the issues that are running within your DAX calculations, right? This seems to be the major cause in mistakes that people make in DAX calculations. So it's very, very important. There are many resources to learn this from. I usually refer to SQL BI. Their website courses are excellent books. So evaluation context, iterators, context transition, and expanded tables. I'm not going to go into these concepts in detail. Rather, I would prefer to show them in my examples. Okay, so I would advise you to please review this and make sure you are comfortable with these concepts. And one other thing is like you need to set your mindset. This is a different language altogether. It totally based on context, unlike Excel, SQL, or any other languages. So the approach is different. That's one of the important things. Then practice. That's very important. Any other language, but here in this case, DAX will throw any results that comes out through the calculation. It could be right or wrong. So there is no step-by-step process here for you to debug and check, right? It's not that advanced yet. So whatever results you are getting, this is because of the context that plays into the calculation, right? How the filters are working, and how these key concepts are interacting with each other. Those are the main points that you need to keep in mind. So practice. Whenever you get a wrong results, go and find out why it is generated and what's the code behind that. And in DAX, there is no trial and error basically. So you have to create your calculation based on the understanding of the concepts. If one function doesn't work, don't try to apply another one and see if it works and go ahead with that. So which is a wrong approach, I would say. Yes, with this, I would like to get into my demo session. This is going to be a demo heavy session today. I'll share my Power BI file. Feel free to ask any questions if you may have during my session. Okay. Yeah, hope you can see my Power BI file on the screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, okay, good. So here is the file we are going to work today. I've got, like I said, 10 examples. These are different scenarios. Through each of these examples, I would like to highlight the DAX concept, that is missing or misused, or the functions that are not used correctly. Okay, so let's go with the first one. So it's a zero and a blank problem. Okay, I have the question over here. So show as not recorded for each date if the value is equal to blank, otherwise show recorded. So whenever there is a blank, I need to show as not recorded, otherwise recorded. I'm not getting the expected results here. Even zero is showing as not recorded. So I only wanted to show not recorded for blank values. Let me show the small table I'm using for this one. Let me run my Zoom it so I can expand a bit. So here we get two columns, dates and some values. You see there are blanks here and zeros as well. So based on this table, I have created a measure to calculate the results, value recorded. Let's jump into the measure and see how it has been built. Value recorded. Okay, so it's a simple measure that take the sum of values and check if it is equal to blank, then not recorded. Otherwise, it's recorded. It looks okay, but the problem here is why it's taking zero as well into the consideration of not being a value and it's a blank. So this is because the value here blank is considered for both blank and zero. So you should understand how to set this up using operators. For this purpose, we can use strict evaluation using double equal. So what I mean is I check this to be strictly equal to blank. Now, if we check our results, this is working fine now. So it's giving the correct result only for blank. This is one way. The other way is use the function is blank. Let me try that. That's the same operation as strict evaluation over here. You can either use strict evaluation with two equal signs or is blank. Or either should work for you. Similarly, I have a card here which is showing count 0 records. So currently, I just wanted to see how many records contain 0 values. So if you see 1, 2, 3, there are 4, but you are looking at 6. Let's have a look at the measure. Calculate count rows where table value is equal to 0. Actually, as I said, 0 and blank are both considered the same. In this case, we can use strict evaluation. So this is one of the pitfalls, when you try to use this kind of operators index. Hope that was clear. Let's move on to the next part. So from example number 2 till 10, I'm using a small data model. Let me share with you that. So I have a dates table and a products table. They are connected to the sales data, the fact table using one-to-many relationship, right? Product table has 6 products with 2 categories, A and B. And this is my dates table, and this is the sales data table where we have transactions. This is the sample data that comes with Power BI Desktop. So I have transactions by country, segment, and salesperson, and so on, right? Okay. So I've created a measure already to get the total sales and the total units. Let me show you that. So we start with these measures. I have price into units sold. I'm using SumX to calculate the total sales and just the sum of my total units sold. Okay, now let's go back to the example number 2. Create a sales band measure by salesperson. So I have the condition to create the sales band. So I have listed all the salesperson and the total sales measure. Here I need to tag as a low, medium, high based on the sales amount. So this is the condition: less than 6 million low, greater than or equal to 6 million medium, and greater than or equal to 8 million it's high. Okay, but looking at this, you see that this 8.9 million is supposed to be on the high side. It should be tagged as high, whereas I don't see that. It's coming as medium here. So something's going on in my DAX calculation. Let me go to the measure and see how it's been built. So I'm assigning the total sales to a variable. Then using switch, I check if the value is less than 6 million, then low, and so on, right? Let's take this 8.9 million. So definitely it's not less than 6 million, but it's greater than or equal to 6 million. So the first one that comes up is assigned here. So in this case, I have 2 conditions true, the second one and the third one. So naturally it will take the second one. So the problem here is the order of the evaluation and how we have ordered the conditions within switch. Okay, you need to pay attention to this. You may not see any error message over here. Your results will be incorrect. So we need to just rearrange this. So the high should come first in this case, then only it will be evaluated in the correct manner. To move this line up, we can use Alt up arrow. This is shortcut when you use DAX. It's very handy. So I can send the low to down pressing Alt down arrow. So I don't need this comma over here. So high, medium, low. This should be the order. Okay, now you get the correct results, right? Below 6 million, it's low and medium and high. Yes. From next one onwards, we will touch on the DAX concepts, basically. So now we have a product table in this model. The question is add a calculated column in product table for total units. So we already have a measure which calculates the total units, but the challenge here is, the question here is to add the same as a calculated column in our products table. So I am expected to get these results. Let me go back to product table. So let me add a calculated column. I'll zoom it. I can call it total units. Let me call it column, so I differentiate between the measure and this one. Okay, now you would think we have a relationship between the product table and the sales table, right? So in this case, if I sum the total units from my sales table, it should filter by product and give me the correct results. Let's try that. Sum. It's solved. Okay, you're looking at the same number everywhere for every product. Though we have a relationship here between the product and the sales table, it doesn't seem to do the filtering. What's going on here? To understand the concept, first we'll look at what we are doing over here. We are creating a calculated column in a table. Whenever you create a calculated column, it iterates row by row on that table, creating a row context, right? So we are not typing the formula for each and every row differently. So the same formula is created here, so it works on a row by row basis. In this case, why this is returning the whole amount is the sales table is not filtered. For example, let's take the first item, Carretera. This one is not filtered in my sales table. That's why it's returning the total amount. So which one will do the filtering here? So what kind of operation will force filtering? Send this filter to the sales table. There are several ways to solve this problem. Let me explain first. To change this current row context, we are on a row context when you iterate over a table, right? When you create a calculated column. To change this row context into a equivalent filter context and pass this value, this product, onto the sales table, there is a function which can do that part, which is calculate. One of the tasks that calculate does is to convert a row context into a filter context. If I include calculate over here, modify the formula, now you see the amount is coming up. That's because the relationship doesn't work within row context. You need to change the row context into a filter context, and then only within the filter context environment, only the what do you call the relationship will work. Okay. So this is one way to achieve it. So other than that, we also have the functions like related table. Related table, it's similar to calculated tables. It's also having a context transition in this. If I say sales data, this will return the whole table. This will give me an error because one scalar value is not returned. In this case, what I can do, I can use SUMX. Data, I can get the units sold. Sales data. Total units, right? So using the relationship, it fetches all the records that are related to this particular product. And then I can, using an iterator function, I can iterate over that table, what is brought in, and add it and get the total units. This is one way. This is another way to achieve it, right? So I mentioned that related table is similar to a calculator table. Even you can use a calculator table. The difference between calculator table and related table is you are able to pass filters within a calculator table. So let me demonstrate that. So this works. That's because context transition is happening with calculator table. The added advantage is like you can, for example, you can say sales data and let's say price is greater than, let's say, 100. Now you're getting the total quantity for each line where the price is greater than 100. Okay. So this is A, where in this context, I'm just trying to explain how the filter context is working and how it is transferred as the row context is transferred as a filter context in this situation. Okay, let's move on to the fourth problem. This is one of the common mistakes I see. We have ranking over here. I've got salesperson and total sales and the total units. So I want to rank first this particular measure. This is ranking the salesperson by the total sales amount. You would have seen this. I see 1 everywhere. The rank is 1 for every salesperson, even for the total units. So let's look at the first measure. Rank salesperson by sales. So I'm checking if only 1 salesperson is visible in the filter context. Then I use the rankx function to get the ranking. Okay, rankx, for its first argument, it needs a table to iterate, go through 1 row at a time. So which is the salesperson, right? I need all these salesperson to be iterated within this table. Then only it will be able to find out the position for each salesperson in the context. And it's evaluating by the total sales over here. Okay, then what is the issue here? The issue here is the usage of the table function within the first argument of rankx. So I have used rankx and values. So why values is not giving me, it's a table function, but why it's not giving me the expected value? I mean, all the sales persons. The difference is values will give you what is visible in the current filter context. Let's say, for example, if you are looking at this 71,000 for salesperson A, I will see only salesperson A, not the whole salespersons within channel partners, right? I can demonstrate that using a function called, let's say, concatenatex. It's very handy to investigate functions and debug DAX code. So this is my table. Instead of returning total sales, let me get the salesperson. Return the salesperson. I can say delimiter is a comma. So let's see what is produced within this table. I am visualizing the table that is entered or given here. So I'm seeing the same salesperson over here. I'm not seeing A to J. So to get what is visible within this channel partners and clear the filter, we can use all selected. Now let's see what happens. So I'm getting all the salesperson in every row. This is what I want for my ranking. Now, if you change this concatenate x to rank x, I don't need the delimiter over here. X, I have all selected. Instead of salesperson, I just need to rank by total sales. Okay. Now this looks good. So we have the correct ranking based on the sales. So all selected will clear the filter within the grouping of salesperson. Okay, so now we have solved the first one. Let's look at the second one. What's wrong with the second measure? In this case, I check if one salesperson is visible. I have applied all selected, which is fine. Right? We made this mistake in the previous one, so I corrected it here. Now, units sold, instead of total sales measure, I am using the same calculation, what is already within that total units measure, right? So why this doesn't work? Why it's returning the same amount? Okay. In our previous example, we learned the context transition. When we created a calculated column, we iterate row by row in that table and create it, right? Similar thing is happening here within this measure. We have a table here. Rank X has a table. So it iterates row by row. And each row we have a salesperson. So when you calculate the sales amount, you need to change that row context into a filter context, which is called the context transition. You need to do the transition of the salesperson, right? From row to filter context. Then only the sales table will be filtered by the salesperson. Here it's giving the same amount for all the salespersons. Just because that is because there is no filter on the salesperson. Which one will do it? Calculate can do that task. So we'll give calculate over here. And if I confirm the measure, you see the ranking is working correctly. Okay. Or if you already have a measure, measures are wrapped around calculate by default. That's why you see your calculations are working in the filter context. So let me replace this with, I already have a measure, total units. Now this works perfectly. Good. Let me sip some water so I can keep talking. Gogula, if you have any questions, please, I can see that as well.
Yep, there is one question from Soshan.
Yeah.
Quick query. Previously used the form of calculate, sorry, sum and then calculate. What if you happen to use sum x and then calculate then sum x?
It's
Would
the
it be
same.
different result?
It's the same. The
right?
difference, yeah, sum x and sum are both are same. Basically, when you look at sum, it what do you call syntax sugar? It's behind the scene. It's sum x is working, right? So what is sum x? Sum x is sum is say sales data table. You won't get the total units, right? Units sold. This is same as sum total units. Okay. So to do the context transition in this case, you have to wrap it around calculate, even if you do sum x.
So which would be the more
Hope I
efficient way
answered
to
that.
do it? Which
Yeah?
would be the more efficient way to go about it?
Okay. Definitely you need a context transition in this case. If you already have a measure, the best approach is to use the total units measure, which is simple and clear.
Clear. So as long as you don't have the measure only, you will use the functions. If you have a measure, use of the measure instead.
Yeah, if you have a measure, use the measure. Otherwise, you can directly calculate what is inside this measure, right? Like I did. For example, calculate sum and units sold.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
You are welcome. Good. Right, we have done the ranking problem. Question number 5. Problem number 5. So calculating commission, sales commission. So the challenge is calculate 10% sales commission for each salesperson having sales over 7 million. I have the salesperson and the total sales. So I think we have 3 salespersons qualified to receive the commission. Yeah, it's calculating correctly. These guys are not eligible. Fine. Look at the total, 6.3 million. It's calculating 10% of the grand total. Actually, if you add all these 3 values, I should get around 2.5, 2.4. That should be the total commission, right? So why your grand total is incorrect? Okay, let's have a look at the measure. So I simply calculate if the total sale is greater than 7 million, then total sales into 10%. That's why you are getting the results. For the else part, you don't have to type anything. Automatically, it will generate blank value, right? You don't have to say otherwise blank here. Okay, so that's something I want to share. So why this doesn't work at total level? Okay. The point here is at total level, how many salespersons are visible? We have, let's say 10 salesperson, all of them are visible here, right? Their sale is shown here. So it's calculating 10%. What I should do is I should get the list of those salesperson who are qualified, or I mean eligible for sales commission, then add the sales. So I need to go through the table, a virtual table called salesperson, and then calculate, then add it. We can use SumX for that. SumX over of salesperson. So I'm iterating over this sales person. So values will create a table, right? At this, here it will show you only one salesperson because I'm using value which is taking the filter context. Currently, the filter context for salesperson over here is only salesperson B. But at this place, it will show all the salesperson. So what I'm doing is I'm giving a condition in my second part when I calculate the expression. So go through each and every salesperson and then check if his sale is greater than 7 million, then calculate the commission. When I confirm this, to get the right amount, 2.4 million. That's because it's taking only 3 salesperson who are eligible for that based on my condition. Hope that was clear. Then I'll go on to the next one. Next 3 problems are related to percentage calculations, which is very common, heavily used, these type of calculations. So let's see the first one. I have the product category. I have 2 categories, A and B, and the segments, right? Category, segment, and the total sales. Here I want to calculate show segment sales as a percentage of its respective category. So I need to divide, for example, the government 15.7 million by the total of its category, which is 36.2 million. So similarly, I need to divide 13.3 by 36.2, right? So I'm getting the results correctly. There is no issue with this results. If I go and select channel partners and enterprise, so I am getting 16%, right? And over here, I'm getting 18%. So it is taking the total from the grand total. So why is that? Whatever is not filtered is also taken into consideration. So let's have a look at the measure that's there. What I want to see here is this should always be 100% because the breakdown for this 100% will be for each segment. So when you add these two, it should become 100%. Channel partners and enterprise should be 100%. Let's go and see how the measure is calculated here. Okay. So I need to divide definitely. So what is in the upper part is the total sales, which in this case, let's say enterprise 5.8 million. And to get the grand total for this value, actually 6.3, what I do is I take the total sales in my calculate and modify the filter context. So the other task that calculate does is changing the filter context. It can add filters, it can remove filters, also it can modify the filters. That's the beauty of this function. So here I am modifying the filter context. Let's say I am clearing the filter on segment. I'm saying remove the filter from segment. This is my segment. So I should get 6.3. Okay. The problem here is the all function. The all function will remove the filter from the whole column, whole segment column here. Okay. But my requirement is remove the filter only from the selected value in the segment column. So what I have selected currently, channel partners and enterprise, I just want to remove only those values. That means these 2 values. So when I say selected, you should be able to remember it's all selected function. This is a calculate modifier. It modifies the calculate function. The expression that is in the first argument is modified right? Based on the new filter context, which is all selected. Now I'm telling, okay, clear the filter only from what is selected, right? These two are selected. Let's confirm this. Okay, now you are getting the correct results, right? 9 plus 91 is 100%. If I remove the filter, still it works. That's the difference between all and all selected. This is one scenario for percentage calculation. Let's move on to the second one. Still similar calculation, actually. I have category, channel, total sales, and I need to get the percentage of total. Calculate segment gross sales contribution percentage to respective category. In this case, I'm getting 100% everywhere. Even if you select a number of segments, you still get 100%. Let's go into the calculation and see what's going on here. You would have used variables. They are very powerful, very easy to read. Your code is very readable, and I have used them. So how I have used it? I defined total sales. Total sales is my variable. I assign my total sales measure, right? And then I need to divide it by the sales over here for the category sales. So I need to remove the filter from segment. I have the total sales. Like before, I explained, I have used all selected. In this case, it's correct. Total sales represents whatever sales. Let's look at channel partners. Channel partners is 411,000. That is supposed to be over here because I have assigned it to a variable. And I clear the filter. Now this should give me the total amount. So simply I divide the total sales by the category total. So what's happening here? The problem is the usage of variables. It's very important to note that when you use variables, once you assign a variable to a measure value, to a measure results, I would say to a variable, they become constants. So I can say variables are constants for measure values. So when I use it inside my calculation, they don't react to any filter modification. Actually, this clearing of filter will not affect this constant value, right? This is, let's say, in this place, in this row, this is as good as a constant number. There is no difference. So this number cannot be influenced by any filters. In this case, what you should do, you should use the measure. Measure has the lineage to that particular table and the field. Total sales. Now this should be able to modify that measure based on the filter context. Let me check. Okay. Now this works perfectly. Fine. Our third problem with percentage of total. We are still solving the similar problem, but a different scenario here, right? I want to get the calculate monthly sales contribution as a percentage of its respective year. So I want September, October, and November, their sales contribution percentage compared to the year. Let's go back to the measure and see why I'm not getting my expected results here. I have used variables like before. For the total sales, I calculate, yes, I used it correctly. So I have learned my lessons from my previous examples. Now I'm trying to do the best I can. So total sales, and I'm clearing the month name because I have the month name over here. So I need to clear it, right? I also used all selected, so I can select any month over here and divide the total sales by the yearly sales. I mean, total sales all months. So why I'm not getting the results? What happens here is I'm using the month name, right? See, month name is sorted nicely. September, October, November. How did I get this to sort correctly? If you go back to your calendar table, if you select your month, and over here, you have sort by column. I'm sorting the text value of this month name by a number, okay, which is a month number. I have the month number here. So I'm using this month name to sort by month number. That's why you are getting these numbers in order. Otherwise, it will go in alphabetical order, right? Which we don't want. Whenever you do calculation and use your field that is associated with a sort by column, you also need to clear the filter from that particular column as well. In this case, if you are clearing the filter from month name, you also need to clear the filter from the month number because they are associated. To prove my point, to show you this, what I can do, I will show this in my DAX Studio. Okay. I can see what kind of query is sent from this visual to my Vertipack engine to the backend to get the query, right? To get the query, you can go to View, click on Performance Analyzer, and start recording. I'll capture the query by clicking on this Analyze this visual. Now it shows 115 milliseconds it took to process the data. Let's go and click on Copy Query to get the query that is generated to get the data for this visual to visualize. And I think my DAX Studio is already open and connected to this particular file. Let me paste it here. Don't worry about other stuff. Just go and see what happens here. So basically, summarize column is the table function that is getting the data from the Vertipack engine. And you see, this is my month name over here. I never mentioned month name in my calculation, but you see month number is appearing here. That's what I said. It's associated as a sort by column, so it's bringing it. So it's calculating the total sales by month. Fine, let me send this away. So how to solve this? To solve this, you need to include that in your filter. Let me go back to my measure over here. Clear filters from the month name, and let me change my language. Okay, should be fine. Yeah. Month number. Now we are clearing the filter from both of these columns. Okay, now you are getting the results. Every month is calculated correctly. The percentage contribution of sales to its particular year. Okay, great. Let's go to the next example. Product category. Calculate product sales percentage of related product category, keeping only product. So this is similar to what we did before, but keeping only product. So here, if you look at this particular matrix, I have the category and the product. So I have the total sales. I have calculated the percentage, right? This is working fine. Let's have a look at it. So total sales there, category sales, I just get the total sales over here in the calculate function. And all except what it does is it removes the filter. So all selected, all removes the filter. All except what it does is it removes the filter from the table, all the columns in this table, except for product category. So it will keep only the product category as the filter and remove everything. So this filter from the product is also removed. This is fine. But the problem is, if you want to visualize it in a chart, you also need to keep the category as well. Is it a question?
No, for me,
Yeah,
I
okay.
think it
So,
was
yeah,
mic.
mic was on, right? Okay. So if you build it this way, if you want to visualize it, you need to keep both the category as well here, right? See the percentage of Amarilla. Amarilla is representing 34.36 as a percentage of category A. See, this is the value. But if I go and remove the category, now what happens? The percentage changes. So this kind of formula where I used all except, it always needs the category to be there within that query, right? So I don't want that. I just want to calculate Amarilla. What is the percentage of its sale in respect to its particular category, right? If I remove, for example, here as well category, see that 34% will become 14, which is wrong. So how do I do that? Okay, let me go back to the measure. This is fine. The upper part, total sales, the bottom, calculate total sales, all except. So instead of using all except, what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the filter from product table. So I remove everything, no filters. Then I just need to filter the calculation by its product. Let's say I am over here, Amarilla. So it has its related product. Okay. I want to filter by that particular product. How do you know which product is which product category is related to Amarilla? There is a concept of cross filtering. Let me quickly go back to, I'll come back to this formula. If you go to the product table, and this is Amarilla, right? If you filter this product, you see in the same column, I can get the category. If you filter by Amarilla, I can get the category A here, right? Product category is reachable. This is called the cross filtering within the filter context. To get that value here, what I will do now, use the values. Values can go and get any visible column within the filter context and its values. So I say product category. Remove everything from the product and insert only the product category. So in this case, it doesn't have to be within the visual. Now you should get 34.36%. So in this case, you don't have to add any category in the visual. Okay. With this, I'm moving on to my last problem. Okay. Calculate percentage of sales for units below 500. So I have my products over here and the total sales. And I have a formula which calculates, let's say, total sales for lines where the total units is below 500. Let me go into the measure and see what's happening. Not this one, right? Okay. So I'm using total sales as my measure over here within calculate. I have applied, okay, total units less than 500. I'm getting the results. So these are the results for units below 500. Next is the next measure is the challenge over here. I'm not getting the percentage. I want to take, for example, I want to get this 1.1 million and divide it by 8.4 million, right, for this place. Okay, this can be taken very easy. I already have the measure, sales below 500 and divided by 8.4, and I need to clear the filter from the products. Let's check the measure. What's wrong with that? So for the upper part, I have assigned sales below 500, which is 1.1 million for the first line, and which is within this variable. For the below part, what do? I just do a different approach here, right? Let's see what happens when I do this way. I take the total sales. I filter the sales table where unit sold is less than 500, which is correct. Since so I'm getting this particular amount. Since I want to get the total amount over here and remove the filter from product, I remove it in this way. So why I am not getting the total I expected, the percentage I expected? Okay. The last concept I spoke about was the expanded table concept in DAX, right? The effect of expanded table here is working, is spoiling our measure. So the problem here is I am filtering what? The whole table, right? Never filter the whole table within your filter condition, right? When you're applying as a filter in Calculate, use only the columns that are related. In this case, I should use only the units sold. That's where the filter is to be applied. But I'm using the sales data. When you use the sales data as the filter, it filters the whole thing. So there is an expanded table. To demonstrate this, what I'll do, I'll just show it in my Excel. I just took my tables from the model, the product table, the same thing. And this is my calendar table. And this is the sales transaction table. I exported my model into Excel. So when you create relationships, what happened? It creates an expanded table in the memory to work with whenever you define the table. So if you expand this is the expanded part. Everything from the product and product category is like shown here, added here, right? Sort of a VLOOKUP thing. So when you do a pivot table in Excel without a data model, you will definitely go and use a VLOOKUP and get all the value from the dimension, right? So it's similar to that. So you see everything. Even the calendar table, you can see the whole table. See the cost of your memory and the performance if you filter by all the tables. So what happens here, you already clear the filter, right? You remove the filter from what? Products. But again, when you do the filtering on the sales table, those filters are available here already, right? Products. So these are filtered again, right? That filter is gone, whatever you applied in the previous step, I mean, in the bottom over here. So that's the problem. So to solve this, what we can do, we can say filter all units sold. That's what we want to filter. So we'll pick only the columns that are there for this particular measure. Now you're getting the correct percentage. So 13.4% is like 1.1 divided by 8.4 and so on. If you notice, you don't have to do this part. Calculate will do it whenever you specify a predicate in this manner. This should also work because in the background, what Calculate does is it converts this kind of Boolean expression, I mean filter, into a full-fledged filter operation over here. So it's doing the same operation. So instead of making your measure longer, you can give it in this way. Okay, now your measure is perfect. So with this, I think I have come to an end. Is there any other questions to answer?
If anyone has any questions, you may unmute and ask or put it in the chat even.
Looks like we can proceed to the next one, right?
Yeah, if that is fine, then let me just give me 1 minute. Let me show you the last two slides on that.
There
There
is a
is
question.
one more question.
Yeah.
It's a question from Jay. Can you change the value of the variable later in the DAX script, or is it first declaration permanent?
Okay, I didn't get the question correct. Let me see the question.
Jay, if you can unmute, you can.
Yeah, you can also ask. It's okay. Let me read and try to understand what is being asked. Can you change the value of the variable later in the dash script, or is it first? Okay, I got the point. You can overwrite, actually, if you have a same, let's say, for example, if you have a measure over here, if you have a variable over here and you assign a value, so later you can reassign, the same variable with something else.
Fowmy, are you sharing something? The sharing is gone.
Okay. If I understood the question correctly, yes, you can assign any value to a variable later to change that. You cannot assign the same variable twice within your measure. So you can assign a new value at the beginning. So to answer your question, no, you cannot change it. Once you assign, it's permanent. That's what we saw in our example. Okay, I think he got it.
Does anyone else have any questions before we move on to the next speaker?
Okay, you are welcome.
Fowmy,
And
will you be sticking around until the event is over? Or?
yeah, I can stay around. So I will share this. If you want, you can take a screenshot as well. This is like some tips on best practices for DAX. Okay, so format your DAX, and having a good star schema is very good. It will solve a lot of DAX problems. Okay, keep your DAX simple. Table names with you use table names, with calculated columns, not for measures. When you create measures, you don't need to put the table name in the front, and use user-friendly names, and organize your measures into folders. Use variables. You need to always create measures, explicit measures, instead of using the default ones. Like I said, filter columns, not tables. In our last example, we filtered the whole table and ran into issues. Use DAX editor like Tabular Editor, DAX Studio, and we have Bravo from yesterday from SQL BI. So these are the things. And my last slide, thank you very much for the session. I'll stick around, no issue. So if you want to get connected to me, then connected with me, then I have my LinkedIn, it's my Twitter, Excel Fort, email is there. And visit my website, website and the YouTube channel, Excel Fort. There are lots of, not many, good.
Fowmy, I don't think you're sharing.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. So let me share that.
Even the slide prior to that, if you can.
Yeah, I will share it. Now, is it visible?
Yes, it is.
This is what I was talking about, the DAX best practices. Please make sure you follow these best practices, when it comes to developing measures, calculations in DAX. That will make your life much easier. You can use the DAX editor. It's very powerful. Even Tabular Editor, I use Tabular Editor 3. Even 2 you can use. It's free, Tabular Editor 2. It will make your life easier. Yeah, hope that's helpful. And yeah, if you want to connect with me, I'm available on LinkedIn, my Twitter handle, Excel Fort, and you can visit my YouTube channel for Power BI, DAX, and data visualization videos, and so on. If you have any questions, please feel free to share with me. I'll try my best to help. And thank you, guys. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present for the first time, and hope to present more sessions in future, hopefully. And thanks, everyone. Let's carry on. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
yeah.
Fowmy.
Thanks again, Fowmy. You really did cover quite a bit of the fundamentals for us, and thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge with us.
Okay, thank you.
And with that, we will be moving on to our lightning demos. The first speaker who will be doing a lightning demo is Pradeep Sanjeewa. He's a consultant, BI consultant at Intellint, and he will be taking a session and demonstrating use relation function index. Pradeep, over to you.
Thanks for introduction. As Varun mentioned, my name is Pradeep Sanjeewa, currently working at Fortitude as BA consultant.
Pradeep, your volume is not too loud enough. If you can speak up a little bit higher, louder.
Okay. How is it now?
I think it's better.
Today I am going to discuss about the use relationship function. I don't have any slides prepared, so straight away I'll jump into the demo. I'll share my screen. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, it is, Pradeep.
Okay. For this demo, I have a model which contains two tables. One is calendar table, the other one is order table. Calendar table is just nothing special. We have the date column and the other calculated columns based on the date. And in the order table, we have the data related to the sales value, and we have few date columns: order date, required date, and ship date. And to start off, I'll show the modeling tab as well. So here I have a relationship within calendar and order table by the order date. So as a starting point, I'm going to analyze the sales value based on the order date. So there's nothing special. So I have created the measure for sales, getting the sum of the order line item value. So we can get the sales value based on the order date. Then let's assume our requirement change. So then we want to analyze the sales value based on the ship date. So then what we can do is we can change this relationship to the ship date. So in that case, the values will be different. Next, we will assume we have a requirement to show the sales value based on the order date and the ship date. Then what we can do is we can go to the modeling tab. Then we can create a new relationship between the date and the order date. So the moment I created that relationship, we can observe that the new relationship is showing in the dotted line. So what does it mean? So if I click on this relationship, we can see this make this relationship activity box is not ticked. So that because we already have one active relationship between these two tables. So in Power BI, between two tables, we can have only one active relationship. If I click on the other one, we can see that relationship is already active. So all the other relationships that we are creating after that will be inactive. For example, I create another relationship between date and the required date. So that also created as inactive relationship. So how can we calculate the order value, sales value based on the order date here? So that's where the use relationship function is become useful. So I'll show you how to create that measure. Go to the modeling tab. Before moving to that, as at now, the active relationship is between the date and the ship date. So I'll create a measure to calculate the sales value based on the order date. So Here we need to use calculate function and then the sum of the item value. Then we can use the use relationship function. So when we are using the use relationship function, we need to specify based on which columns we need to uh, uh, establish the relationship. So here I want to establish a relationship between calendar table date column and the order date column. Here now we can see different values based on the ship date and the order date. So that is the use of the use relationship function. And one thing to remember is to use the use relationship, it is necessary to have an inactive relationship. For example, here if I delete this inactive relationship between the date table and the order date table, it will throw an error. If I go to the report view and see the result, it will not show. So to use the use relationship function, first step is to create the inactive relationship. Then we can use that function. And the other important thing is to use the use relationship function, we need some function that accepts filter condition as argument. For example, this calculate function accept filter condition. So we can use this function only with those kind of functions. So that's it from my end. Are there any questions?
If anyone has any questions, you may please put it in the chat or unmute and ask. Doesn't look like there are any questions, Pradeep. Thank you very much for that session on use relation. If there are any questions, you may keep it in the chat and Pradeep will be able to answer them for you.
Okay, thanks all.
Next up, we have Samudra Bandaranayake, who is a senior data analyst at Wiley. And she will be doing a lightning demo for us on creating Charticulator visuals for Power BI. Samudra, over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the today's lightning demo session 2, creating Charticulator visuals. So these are my details. I'm Samudra and currently working as a senior data analyst at Wiley. And you can follow me through Twitter, LinkedIn, and there's my blog as well. So this is the small agenda which I'm planning to do today within 10 minutes. First, I'm going to describe visualization options in Power BI, and I'm going to describe why and where we are going to using Charticulator, and then what is Charticulator, and there's a small demo. And I'm showing some more Charticulator examples here in this small session. So here in this visual, you can see there are so many visualization options we have. This co-visuals means that Power BI They provide default visuals. So these are the core visuals, and if that is not enough, we are using custom visuals here. And you can see from the right hand side, the complexity is getting high, and this is the Charticulator charts lies here. And then there are so many visualization options like DNAB, and we can create R and Python visualizations, and other thing is custom visuals. So today I'm going to describe about what is Charticulator visuals. So okay, so let me talk about why and where we are using Charticulator visuals. So if you feel that Power BI standard and custom visuals are not enough for your report, or if you want to explore a newer, versatile and amazing visuals, so if you want that, we can use Charticulator visuals. Okay, then what is Charticulator? So that is actually online solution to design your own visuals from plain text files, and there is a separate site called Charticulator. And actually this is a project from Microsoft Research, and they are validating these visuals as well. So initially there was a release in April last year in 2021, and this is that release announced in the new Charticulator visual. So from using this link, you can go to that post, the website, and get more details about this release. And so when we are integrating Charticulator in Power BI, there are two options we can use. One is using Power BI desktop, and other is Charticulator web. So first one is Power BI desktop. So we can import that custom visual Charticulator. Then we can create visuals here. And today in my demo, I am using Power BI desktop to create Charticulator visual. And other one is the Charticulator web. So using the web, we can create some Charticulator charts, and we can export, and we can import it into the Power BI desktop. So let's move on to the demo. Today demo is, so here you can see I have a table, and the one column is product, and we have particular related sales price here. So here I just wanted to I'm doing a small demo, so I just wanted to create a column chart here. So what we can do is, first we need to get that Charticulator visuals here. So you can import it like this. So you need to click this icon and get more visuals, and it will load. And here in the search bar, you can that one, and here you can see the Charticulator visual type is here. And here you can click this one, and you can see here blue color tick mark. That means it's Microsoft, they are verified this type. And you can import this one into the Power BI desktop. So I'm already import that visual type here. And what I'm going to do is, I need to convert this table into the column chart. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to click this table, and you can select this one. So here you can see they are providing some steps that you need to do. So basically here I want data, I want product and sales details data, like as data. So I'm going to drag and drop these things here, and so I'm going to edit this one. So here you can see, when I go to this one, so this full canvas area it occupies. So I'm going to like get more space here. And here, like I said, there are two options: import template and create chart. Today I'm going to create a chart here. So this is the canvas area, and there are so many options like there's a glyph. So this is the where we are creating, and this one dimension like so in my data set here you can see I have 6 products and 6 sales prices. So here if I'm doing the I'm creating the chart, and it will apply to this canvas area. So there are 3 categories are glyph and layers and attributes. So this is the area where I'm going to create the chart, and it will apply all the steps here. And layers here we can add some I mean here there are some we can add shapes and lines and all. We can add text, so it appear here, and all the attributes are here. So what I'm going to do is here create a plot segment. So I'm going to I'm applying 2D region. So I'm creating like this, and I need to fit into this canvas. So that is done, and now I'm going to do is I wanted to add a rectangle. So rectangle here, and actually we can minimize and maximize these things, and you can see here these are dotted lines, and it will it will show here as well. So now I'm going to do is I'm going to add a column. So here you can see there are 6 rectangles here based on this data set. So we have 6 products are there. So and then I wanted to get some sales price. So then I'm going to, so anyway I can unpin this one, and I can get uh, this thing, and I can enlarge this window as well. So I can zoom in and zoom out also. Okay, so I'm going to add a text here. So this one, and here I'm going to put it I'm going to we can rotate this one. Okay, and I'm going to place it on the I'm going to place this on this on this rectangle. So I can move it here and there, and okay. Okay, now here you can see I applied that step to here, and it will apply to this graph as well. So I wanted to put the sales price amount here. So what I'm going to do is I'm getting drag and drop this value to here. So here you can see we have those sales prices, and so here you can see the height of these rectangles are same, and I need to adjust that value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this rectangle, and there is an option under the attributes. There is an option called height. So I'm drag and drop this sales price into the height. Okay, so according to this, here you can see it applies nicely. And another thing is I need to get the product names are here. So easily we can do that. I'm going to select the product, and I'm putting x-axis here. So here you can see it actually it's get the alphabetical order here. And now what I'm going to do is I just want to this get this product name into this onto this rectangles. So what I'm going to do is again I'm getting some text box, and here I'm crop this as, and here what I'm going to do is, okay, previously, like previously, I can drag and drop it here. Okay. Okay. Here, and I want the product name here. So what I'm going to do is just clicking this one, and product name I want. Then here you can see I have this one. And I need to check this one because it's duplicating. This. Okay. Okay. So I'll okay, anyway, the x-axis here. Okay. Okay, let's see. Text. Okay, and I'm going to again change the height here. So I'm going to click this one, and height I'm going to say sales price. And here also we can change the colors here as well. And I'm going to put the x-axis here. Sales. Sorry, product. Likewise, here what we can do is we can sort this one, and we can change that. That we can sort, filter this one. Those are things we can do, and there are a lot more things we can do here. And I will show I have already done this demo, so I'm going to show basically what we can create these type of things. So here you can see we can have a product here, and the sales amounts are here, and we can change this one. Change colors, and we can do we can create some custom visuals here. So now you think like even by seeing this, you think like we can create this visual using these standard ones also. So so actually we can do a lot more things here. I will show some examples, so then you will get an idea what we can do with this. Okay, so here you can see here these are the some of the visuals we can create using this option. So here you can see some the drug overdose was traffic fatalities 2017, and so here you can see there are a lot more things we can create visuals using this option. And actually it's a powerful feature. So I will summarize this one. So when it come here, actually it's a powerful feature, and we can create some professional visuals here. And initially, like you said, like you seen now, it's the initial learning curve is very steep, but when we are used to it, yeah, actually we can make more visuals like immersive visuals in using the Power BI. And here I have provided some links, so you can go through this and learn something about this feature. And that's the end of the session. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samudra. Does anyone have any questions? Samudra, there's a question in the chat. Can we access the feature in Power BI with Pro license alone?
Power BI Pro,
Or
I
else do we need premium?
actually Pro actually I still I need to check that, but Power BI Desktop we can use that.
Okay. Shiham, I hope that answered your question.
Actually, I need to I mean check this one. This
Okay.
whether we
Does anyone have any other questions? In that case, thanks a lot, Samudra, for that very interesting session on the Charticulator visuals. And with that, we will move on to our final lightning demo, which will be by Gogula Aryalingam, the AVP for Data and AI at Intelint. And he will be demoing updates to goals in Power BI. Gogula, over to you.
Thanks, Warren. So this is not going to be a lightning talk. It's much shorter than that. It's just a minute. It's just an update. So it's just going to take a minute. So I did this session on goals in Power BI, and what you can see on the screen is an example and a demo that I did in the Feb session. And I also put on the chat a link to the blog which explains this a little bit more. So what I just want to show you today, just take a minute, and what are the new updates to goals in Power BI, because this is a feature that a lot of people are excited about, especially when it comes to corporate, to building things like corporate scorecards and KPI trees and so forth. What they've introduced is now that you used to have these different statuses, standard statuses, but now what you can do is you can go and create your own little status by going into manage. You edit and you go to manage and you get your own status here. So I'm creating one saying on review, give a color, and then we can just start using it as it is. So that will show up, and that gets included. That's one. And the other one, which I cannot exactly show it because I need to have the Power BI for Teams app installed. That is where you have Power BI embedded inside Teams. What they've done now is they have included notifications. So when somebody goes in and there's a manual update to the goals here, or if they go into a check-in here, a new check-in, so you change the value and maybe change the status, and then click on save. This will push a notification to the owners saying that this particular goal has been reviewed and updated, or a check-in has been done on the KPI scorecard, and that would pop up on their Teams app for Power BI. Okay, so just a couple of new updates that they've given that they've added to this, and I'm sure there are a lot more coming according to their roadmap. So that's all I have for today. So we can close up now.
Thanks, Gogula. Before I ask if there are any questions for Gogula, there is a question I think for Samudra. Is it possible to create a single date picker using Charticulator?
for that we can create a slicer using the month value of date value, but need to check with this. I mean, this date picker.
Okay. Mangala, I hope that answers your question. Or if you have any further clarifications, you can even unmute and ask. In the meantime, does anyone have any questions for Google as well? In that case, we can wind up. I just want to remind everyone you can follow us on the Power BI, our Power BI user group, and also today's meeting will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. And again, sorry we've run a few minutes late, but thank you everyone for sticking around, and thank you for joining today. Thank you, and thank you to the speakers as well.
Thank you everyone for joining today. And we will not have a session next month in April. The next one would be in May.